This is a short video on how you can train and run a marathon. The primary elements of marathon training are: train 3 days a week, run or walk 20 to 30 minutes 2 days a week, take a longer run or walk 40 minutes to an hour on the weekend, rest or cross-train on your off days, run at a conversational pace, consider taking regular walk breaks. How hard is it to run a marathon? The 26.2-mile marathon is a challenging running event because of its duration. After 2 hours of running, by the 20-mile mark for fast runners, the body runs out of glycogen, stored sugar, and begins breaking down the protein in muscles and tissues for fuel. When should I run my first marathon? The long run is the most important workout for aspiring marathoners. About 16 to 20 weeks before the marathon, start building the distance of this workout so you run 20 miles at least once before the race. Preferably, as a first-timer marathoner, you will run 20 to 21 miles 2 or even 3 times before race day. Should I run a marathon? At a bare minimum, you should be able to run at least 5 miles in under an hour, averaging 20 to 25 miles a week, running 3 to 4 per week, and be doing that consistently for 4 to 6 months. Because your body needs time to adapt. It will grow stronger and adjust, but only over time. Can a beginner runner run a marathon? First, it's always best to check with your physician before beginning any extensive exercise program like training for a marathon. Should I run a marathon without training? To answer the question, yes, you can finish the marathon with no training. It is always better to train and be prepared. Be hydrated, eat good food before the run, etc. You can also run, jog for the first few miles and then just power walk. How do you know if you are ready to run a marathon? You're generally fit. You're consistent with your running. You're bored with shorter distances. You're realistic about resting. You're mixing in other workouts. You've already tackled a smaller race. You have something to prove. You are running for a cause. Is it bad to run every day? Running every day may have benefits for your health. Studies show that the benefits of running for just 5 to 10 minutes at a moderate pace, 6.0 miles per hour, each day may include reduced risk of death from heart attack or stroke, reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. What is a respectable marathon time? In terms of average marathon times, the median marathon finishing time in 2016 for men in U.S. marathons was 4 hours 22 minutes and 7 seconds, 9:59 minutes per mile pace, according to Running USA. The median finishing time for women was 4 hours 47 minutes and 40 seconds, 10:58 minutes per mile pace. Is 16 weeks enough to train for a marathon? Back then, marathon training plans were around 16 weeks in duration. It was enough time to build on the mileage foundation, peak, and then taper down to race day. You've run 2 marathons, and you want to improve. You could go with a shorter duration plan of 16 weeks, but it doesn't leave you much wiggle room. What do I eat before a marathon? Start eating small meals every 2 to 3 hours, but after lunch, cut out red meat, fried foods, dairy products, fats, nuts, and roughage. You should only be consuming light, digestible foods like energy bars, bread, and small sandwiches. Keep drinking water and electrolyte beverages and avoid salty and high-fiber foods. What is the best way to run a marathon? Begin training at least 16 to 24 weeks before the marathon. Run 3 training sessions per week with alternating difficulties. Warm up and cool down before and after your runs. Increase your distances by 10% to 20% per week for about 10 weeks. Enter 5K, 10K, and half marathon races during training. How do you breathe when running? Bottom line, avoid shallow chest breathing while running and focus on deep belly breathing. Breathe through both your nose and mouth, but primarily through the latter. Try out several different breathing rhythms and choose the one that feels most comfortable to you. Can you train for a marathon on a treadmill? You can definitely train for a marathon on a treadmill. Whether you use the treadmill as a training tool for specific marathon speed workouts or even do all of your marathon training runs a treadmill, lots of people successfully prepare for marathons using treadmills. Do runners live longer? It was a review of past research that determined that runners live an average of 3 years longer than non-runners. This held true even if the runners smoke, a real phenomenon, drink, have high blood pressure, or are overweight, or if they run slowly. So remember, you can run a marathon at any age. Give it a try. Don't forget to click the links below. And subscribe today.